Good afternoon, guys. Today I'm going to show you a few items I got off Banggood, and let's get started. Alright, so I was interested in getting some LED lights for various places around my house, and I decided to get some of these rigid 9-watt LED strips, and there's something like 72 LEDs on here. It says on the label it's a 56 by 30 72 LED. Now it doesn't look like 72 LEDs, but let's just have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So there's 36 LEDs on this. So don't be confused by the label in the spec. Although on the spec it said 990 by 12, so what that means is actually a meter. And what I think these units came in was they come in two units. So I bought them in pairs, and obviously in total it makes 72 LEDs, 36 times 2, and these are about 500 millimeters each, so that's where they get the 990 from. It's roughly almost a meter in total. So that is basically the parts. They come with a bag of 4 tiny 3mm screws. I think it's 3mm by 7mm. Personally, I think they're a little bit too small to mount onto something, for example, under the counter, or you know, if you have to mount it on the bottom of something, that these screws might not be able to take the weight. Although, even though it is a very light unit, it's very simple. I decided to buy myself a bag of 16 by 4 millimeter chipboard screws as a replacement. So you can see they're very similar, but these are much longer, so they'll be far more sturdy in the long term. Along with that, I bought a power supply. It's a 12 volt 18 watt LED driver, and you can see all the specs there. It supplies DC 12 volts. It's got AC 100 to 240 volts, and it's supposed to be able to handle 18 watts. So that means one of these power supplies drives both of these units, because even though it doesn't say on the page on Banggood, it says each one is 9 watts. Pair is obviously 18 watts, so this would be the perfect power supply to get for a pair of these. So what I did, let me show you the completed version. Alright. Okay guys, this is my completed version of the 2 LED strips and power supply. I just unplugged it from my my plug. I've been testing them for about 10 minutes, and both of them got a little bit warm, although not untouchable. They were running for about 10 minutes, and they got a little bit hot. So it's not like you would burn yourself, but also the power supply got fairly warm. So I mean that's to be expected. 18 watts of LEDs do produce a little bit of heat, and a power supply, as we know, they usually create heat, although it's only 18 watt. So it's a fairly basic looking power supply. I mean, as you'd expect, like very similar to a cell phone charger, for example, although this thing comes with a flange with the mounting hole, so you can mount it out of the way or in a particular place. And I had a look at the inside, and yeah, it looked actually like a very high quality device, very well laid out, very clean, and yeah, they do warn. It says on there, high temperature, please do not touch the surface. Okay, so it can get warm, but from my 10-minute test, it wasn't terribly hot at all. So there you go, and let me switch it on to show you guys just about how it works. Okay, it's plugged in. Just put that switch on off. Okay, so before I switch it on, I just want to show you quickly how I wired it together. I bought some of the special ripcord. It's not that special. It's a 0.5mm 2-core ripcord. You can buy this at any grocery store, at any hardware store. Very common, very popular. Even though it might be a little bit on the thick side, I thought I'd rather err on that because I wouldn't want the cables to heat up or anything strange. And it was the same price as the cheaper, thinner one, so I thought, why not? And then obviously the black and the red 2-core ripcord, also 0.5mm copper. So I bought several meters of those, and I put it all together. I wired, you can see here, I wired it up. You see, you can barely even see it. I used heat shrink where I soldered the two wires together. Red heat shrink and black heat shrink. So I soldered them together, and then here I also heat shrunk them together. Because the LED units actually came with it was about 15 centimeters worth of cable, so I thought I'd use that and not waste it. The actual LED units themselves, it's quite nice. It's a really perfectly fitting aluminium base that also helps distribute the heat or take the heat away from the LEDs. So you know that ensures that they don't burn out or the board doesn't heat up unevenly. And yeah, so let's just switch it on and have a look, shall we? Of course, I got the wrong power plug. Let's just switch it on there correctly, and let's try it again. Bang! Oh, there we go. It's quite bright. It's 18 watts of really good quality. What's it? Cool white. This was the cool white version, so you can see it doesn't have an orange tinge. You can actually see my camera lens is starting to blur up a little because there's a little bit of dirt and it's showing up on the image. But yeah, it's a great little product, and just be aware of those few things, the kind of cord you're going to need to wire it up. You might want to buy a switch for it, and you might need a plug to wire it up, to hook it up to the to your wall, and then yeah, a little bit of solder, a little bit of heat shrink, and off you go. And you might also want to look into getting slightly longer screws to mount it in various places. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Check out the links in the description, and yeah, I'd give this a thumbs up. Cheers. Hi guys, just a little update to the LED power supply video. I've got it installed here. Got it hooked up to my plug over there, and switched on, and I've got the cable hot glued along the edge here. I've got my switch on the power supply, and you can have a look how I install it at the bottom of my cupboards. There's two very bright LED strips to illuminate the counter and the sink, and you can kind of see the difference that, well, there is light and there is no light, and there is a lot of light. One thing I did notice though is it's been running for about half an hour roundabout, and I was feeling the heat on the power supply, and I got a little bit concerned because, you know, heat isn't the best for electronics. So what I did here, this has been mounted here. All I did, I clipped off the cover with a little screwdriver, and then I took a drill and drilled 3 little holes there, another 6 holes over there at the bottom, and also another 3 holes on the other side. There's a little gap here to let air out, but not a lot, but anyway. So I'm hoping that'll keep it a lot cooler than before, because it was pretty much just a closed case, and you know, I just want to make sure it lasts as long as possible. So it did get a little bit hot, and because I am using the full 18 watts of this power supply's capability, it does tend to push it to the max. So my advice is drill a couple of holes to allow air to enter from the bottom and exit through the top, because the hot air obviously rises, and then yeah, you should be dealing with a slightly cooler power supply. Alright, cheers.